مرحبا، أنا آمنة حميدات من طلاب جامعة بيت لحم وسكان مخيم دهيشة. بدرس محاسبة في كلية إدارة الأعمال. بالحقيقة هاي المنحة ساعدتني وفادتني كثير، لأنه فكرة عدم قدرتي على دفع الأقساط الجامعية كانت تشكل لي عبء نفسي وتأثر على تركيزي في الدراسة. ففي النهاية بحب أتشكركم وبثمن جهودكم، وبتمنى أكون من الطلبة المتميزين اللي استحقوا هاي المنحة. شكراً.
اسمي محمد سعد، طالب لغة إنجليزية وعلوم سياسية سنة ثالثة في جامعة حيفا. خلال فترة تعليمي انجبرت أشتغل وأتعلم بنفس الوقت عشان أمول التعليم، والإشي كان صعب علي. المنحة ساعدتني أقلل ساعات الشغل وأركز أكثر على الدراسة، والنتيجة انعكست في حصولي على امتياز في التعليم. كل دعم مثل هذا بساعد الطالب على النجاح في تعليمه. أتشكر القائمين على تقديم منحة شيكاغو لدعمهن ومساعدتهن للطلاب في جامعة حيفا.
مرحبا، أنا نور أبو ريا من سخنين. تعلمت علاج وظيفي بجامعة حيفا لمدة 4 سنين. إمكانياتي كانت محدودة لحتى أبدأ تعليم، فلهيك قررت أشتغل قبل التعليم لمدة 1.5 سنة حتى أدفع أجار التعليم، والإشي ما كفى. المنحة أعطتني وقت أكثر لأكرس للدراسة، وهذا انعكس على تحصيلي العلمي، وأنهيت اللقب الأول بامتياز. من القلب للقلب بنقولهن شكرا كثير.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Good afternoon to those in the US and good evening to those in the Middle East. I am Tal'at Uthman, co-founder of the Palestinian Student Scholarship Fund. It is my privilege and honor to welcome everyone to this important virtual fundraising lunch. I say important because the Scholarship Fund's mission is to develop future leaders in the societies where they live through education. Your generous donations will take students, their families, and their communities out of poverty and into dignified leadership positions in whatever profession they choose to excel in. You can be proud that you are part of this noble mission. Thank you for being with us today, and thank you for your generous contributions. Now, let me turn the program over to my good friend, Mr. Ali Atta, President of the Scholarship Fund. Brother Ali, please take over.
I'm going to start with a short video, a 3-minute video that would tell the whole story of our mission and what we do. So with that, Brother Mulham, can you start the video, please?
I am one of the students at Bethlehem University who got a scholarship called Palestinian Student Scholarship Fund.
اسمي محمد سعد.
أنا آمنة حميدات.
أنا حياة محاربة.
مرحبا، أنا نور أبو ريا من سخنين.
The Palestinian Student Scholarship Fund was founded in 2017 on one basic principle: knowledge leads to dignity, freedom, and justice. Our mission is to assist underprivileged, high-achieving Palestinian students in their pursuit of higher education. We see a future where a student's financial situation is not an obstacle in the pursuit of their dreams, where every student has the resources to achieve their goals and goes on to serve and better their communities. With your help, we can make that future a reality.
تعلمت علاج وظيفي بجامعة حيفا لمدة 4 سنين.
طالبة من جامعة بيت لحم.
طالب لغة إنجليزية وعلوم سياسية سنة ثالثة في جامعة حيفا.
من طلاب جامعة بيت لحم.
إمكانياتي كانت محدودة لحتى أبدأ تعليم، فلهيك قررت أشتغل قبل التعليم لمدة 1.5 سنة حتى أدفع أجار التعليم.
خلال فترة تعليمي انجبرت أشتغل وأتعلم بنفس الوقت عشان أمول التعليم، والإشي كان صعب علي.
خلال تعليمي بالجامعة سمعت عن منحة شيكاغو سجلت وأخذت المنحة. هذا الإشي كان له تأثير كتير منيح علي من ناحية نفسية ومادية لحتى أقدر أكمل تعليمي.
بالحقيقة هاي المنحة ساعدتني وفادتني كثير، لأنه فكرة عدم قدرتي على دفع الأقساط الجامعية كانت تشكل لي عبء نفسي وتأثر على تركيزي في الدراسة.
My major is English Stat, which is about the different methods of teaching English. I really want to teach Palestinian students English so they will be able to use it to tell the world about our state and our land, which is Palestine.
وأنا إحدى الطالبات الحاصلة على منحة Palestinian Student Scholarship Fund، وأشكر الجهة المقدمة لهذه المنحة التي ساعدت الكثير من الطلاب في توفير جزء من القسط المترتب عليهم.
أنا أحد الطلبة اللي يستفيدين من الدعم المادي اللي بيقدمه صندوق منحة طلاب فلسطين Palestinian Student Scholarship Fund. أولاً حابب أوجه كلمة شكر لكل المؤسسين وكل القائمين على هذا الصندوق، لأنه أنتم بالرغم من أنه برا وصلكم سنين عايشين برا في بلاد المهجر، إلا أنه أنتم دائما تتذكروا الوطن ودائما بتتذكرونا وتذكرتونا بشيء عظيم جدا اللي هو مساعدة طلاب الجامعات. شكرا جزيلا.
شكرناهم لقدومهم وشكرناهم لفكرتهم لمساعدة الطالب الفلسطيني في 48 اللي بدرسوا الجامعة الفلسطينية، وإن شاء الله تكبر هذه الفكرة ونقدر نستوعب كل الحالات اللي هي بحاجة لمساعدة من أهلنا في 48.
المنحة أعطتني وقت أكثر لأكرس للدراسة، وهذا انعكس على تحصيلي العلمي، وأنهيت اللقب الأول بامتياز. من القلب للقلب بنقولهن شكرا كثير.
أتشكر القائمين على تقديم منحة شيكاغو لدعمهن ومساعدتهن للطلاب في جامعة حيفا.
في النهاية بحب أتشكركم وبثمن جهودكم، وبتمنى أكون من الطلبة المتميزين اللي استحقوا هاي المنحة.
I deeply believe that education is an essential factor for dealing with our problems as Palestinians and as human beings. Thank you.
يا اهلا وسهلا، شرفتونا في بيتنا. تفضلوا يا جماعه، تفضل. انا يا جماعه اسمي علي عطا، اهلا وسهلا فيكم في بيتنا. الله يرضى عليكم، كلكم اهل واصحاب، كلكم اهل واصحاب، واهلا فيكم في بلد في داركم. The scholarship fund started about 4 years ago with a bunch of friends and colleagues. ابو حسين، ابو محمد، الاخ طلعت عثمان، ابو ايمن هناك، ابو احمد. Who else did I leave out? اكرم زنايد، ابو ماهر، ابو موسى was just added lately, ابو عيسى، اكرم زنايد. جماعه, friends and colleagues in the Chicago business community, we started this fund to give back to our people. احنا كفلسطينية we really need to understand ملناش إلا بعض. We need to hold hand. We need to stand on each other's shoulders to reach our goal. The days where you're counting on فلان وعلان والعرب هان وهان, those days are gone, and I think we all have come to that realization. We have a great asset in our students throughout. I remember in the 50s and the 60s, the greatest asset we have as Palestinians are our students. You remember those people that would graduate high school, then go to the Kuwait, teach, and send money to their parents to educate their brother, and their brother became a doctor and a lawyer, and we educated the whole Middle East. We need to be proud of who we are. We need to be proud of our students, and for that, I thank you for coming to join us. We have over the last, and I failed to mention our brother Amir Darwish, who our thoughts, our prayers are with him. He's a dear brother, and we miss him very much. Keep him in your thoughts and prayers, inshallah. Going back to the subject, in seeking freedom and justice for our people, the only way we're going to get it is by keeping our people educated, by spreading knowledge throughout wherever Palestinians exist. So we started this scholarship fund about 4 years ago. We've given over 300 scholarships so far. We have 3 universities, as you saw in the video, Al-Quds, Beit Lahem, and Haifa. The reason for Haifa is, those folks of the 48, and we refer to them as 48, not to take away from them being Palestinian. They're just as pure and as anybody else, but just for communication. We need to bring them all on board. We need to bring every Palestinian from all over the world, whether for Lebanon in the camps, or Jordan in the camps, whether in Australia and Europe or anywhere. We need to come together. We need to work together. Because only in being one will we be able to achieve freedom and justice for our cause. For that, I thank you. Our organization is a 501c3 organization, meaning it's tax deductible. We've managed to raise serious money under these difficult conditions already. We've had a couple of events, one at Anna Abu Musa from Milwaukee that raised $40,000. We had another one at Akhuna Abu Ayman. We raised $60,000. Abu Hussein is going to talk about another gift we received from our brothers, the Turks. My mother's Turkish, so they're my uncles, and he'll address that. So again, we thank you. I don't want to take too much of your time. And with that, we're ready to turn the program over to Dr. Sami Abu Shhadeh من فلسطين.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Guys, can you hear me?
While we're getting Dr. Sami Abu Shhadeh online, let me just do a little introduction. Dr. Sami Abu Shhadeh was born in 1975, is a member of the Joint List representing the Arab Nationalist Black Party. He was first elected to the Knesset in October 2019 and was previously director of the Yafa Youth Movement. Before that, a member of the Jaffa City Council. He holds a PhD in Middle East Studies. Dr. Abu Shhadeh, are you with us?
Yeah, how are you? Can you hear me?
Assalamu alaikum.
Yes, we can hear you. Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Well, first of all, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to talk to this honored guest today. I would like, first of all, to thank PSSF on your great work that you are doing. I don't see it as something taken for granted. I think it's a very important project what you are now doing. And I really do believe that education is the most important thing that we can do to mobilize our community. So it's a great project. And I think that politics becomes much more moral when you try to help the weak part of the communities, the weak part of the people that you are trying to help. So I see your work as something very, very important and positive. I would like to concentrate my talk to you in the next few minutes to talk a little bit about the missing 1.7 million people, the Palestinian minority who are living as citizens as the state of Israel. Usually we hear about different parts of the Palestinian people. In general, most of the people know much less about the Palestinians who are living as citizens of the state of Israel. And I would like to concentrate my talk to give you some political context on our political situation here as citizens of the state of Israel. And let me begin my talk to you with two different scenes from the last few years in order to give you some feeling of the political context that we are living within. First, in Israel, because of the political instability in the last few years, we have elections every few months. So in April 9, 2019, we had another elections. And we had one in September 2019. We had another elections in March 2020, and seems to be we are going to have another one in the next few months. In the campaign of the Minister of Justice at that time, in April 2019, the Minister of Justice at that time in Israel was called Ayelet Shaked. In her political campaign, she had a short video in order to convince her audience why to vote for her. So she dealt with herself as a model, and she was advertising a new fragrance. Her fragrance in this video was fascism. And she started her video by saying few times fascism, fascism, fascism. And then she says that for her, it totally smells like a democracy. Now we are talking about the Minister of Justice, okay? That from her point of view, and in order to convince her audience, she wants to claim to her audience that fascism from her point of view is a democracy. And unfortunately, in the Israeli political system, she is not alone. Few years before her, at that time, Prime Minister Netanyahu was the Minister of Finance. And he was giving a lecture in Herzliya Interdisciplinary Center in a big conference that they have an annual conference on the Israeli security. And at that time, Netanyahu gave his main political vision. And he said that from his own point of view, he deals with the Arab Palestinian minority, he deals with us, 20% of the Israeli citizens, as the biggest strategic threat for the Jewish state. Now, we are not talking here about small group of KKKs or a small group of fascists or Nazis here and there. We are talking about the man who is the most important political figure in the state. Now he is the prime minister. And when the prime minister is thinking about you as a strategic threat, he will plan for you as a strategic threat. So unfortunately, in the Israeli Knesset, we have something like 120 seats. And the extreme right in the Israeli politics have been controlling the political system for the last 25 years. And people who have the vision of Netanyahu dealing with us as a strategic threat for the Jewish state are the majority in the Israeli Knesset. It's not a small group or a marginal minority of extreme people. Unfortunately, they are the majority of the political trends and political activists in the Israeli Knesset. So we ask ourselves, what are we doing in order to deal with such a way of thinking towards us? I think our most important political project as a Palestinian minority that happened in the last few years was building what we call the joint list. We were able to bring together the biggest 4 political trends, the biggest 4 political parties in order to one list. It's called the joint list. The 4 political trends that we have as a Palestinian minority is the Communist Party, which is called the Jabha Demokratiya Lissalam wal Musawa. Mainly, it's built on the Communist Party, but they have a lot of other coalitions. We have the Balad Party, my own party, Tajammu al-Watan al-Demokrati, which is built on national and democratic thoughts. We have the Arabic List for Change, led by Dr. Ahmad Tibi, and we had the Islamic movement. And let me be honest with you, it was not easy to bring the Communist Party with the Islamic movement. And it is still not that easy to work all together because we have different political visions, different political agendas, different political backgrounds. So it was not an easy project. But I think this was the most important political project in order to challenge all these things that is happening against us as citizens of the Israeli state. We are suffering from discrimination in all fields of life. Now, the 4 political trends have a lot of things that differentiate between them, but we agreed on our few very important things, build our political vision, our political agendas. We have all agreed that our main political project is to try to make Israel a democratic state. We are struggling for justice, equality, and peace for all the citizens, the Arab community and the Jewish community who are living inside Israel today. Our main political agenda is to try to make a change in the state of Israel from a Jewish state that prefers the Jewish community on the indigenous community, we, the Arab Palestinian minority who are living here as Israeli citizens, we are trying to do a change in this political system. And instead of running Israel as a Jewish state that prefers the Jewish people and all the others, we are trying to bring equality, peace, and justice for all the citizens. We call this political program making Israel the state of all its citizens. Our political agenda is built on justice, equality, peace, and universal human rights. What we are trying to do, we are trying to close the gaps between all the communities and bring equality between all the citizens. In order to do so, we believe that Israel, as a state, as a political system, should change from a Jewish state to a normal democracy. We are not inventing something new here. We are not bringing something that does not exist. We want Israel to be a normal democracy, which is closer to Belgium, Sweden, Switzerland, Denmark, and all the other democratic states. A state that do not see differences between its own citizens according to their religious identity or according to any other identity that they are born with. A state that would deal with all their citizens just because of the fact that they are citizens, they are equal. Now, if they pray like Jews or they pray like Christians or they pray like Muslims, this thing should be between them and God. The state should be neutral from the religious identity of the citizens. The citizens will take all the rights because they are citizens. It's a simple, basic democratic thought. Nothing new or big in this thing. But because we are holding these political agendas, there's a very big majority against us inside the Israeli Knesset. People, the vast majority in the state, the Jewish population, they are enjoying the gaps, and now they don't want to share the cake. They feel powerful enough, they don't have to share the cake. So they are against making Israel a normal democracy. Now we know that we have a very, very long way. Okay, we are not naive. We know exactly where we are existing. We know the relations of power. We know where we are living. And we know that making Israel a democracy for all its citizens is a very long project. Okay, and we deal with it as something that's not going to happen in the near future. But we see it as a just political agenda, which is good for all the people, which is good for us, the Arab Palestinian minority, and it's good also for the Jewish majority who are living here with us in our homeland. We want to share our homeland, but we want to have a political system that can give us our basic human rights and mainly equality, justice, and the universal human rights for everyone. Of course, what we are now trying to do, because we see this thing happening in the long future, in the long-term political agenda, what we are now trying to do is mainly work on the empowerment of our community. Because of discrimination inside the state of Israel, there are huge gaps between the Arab Palestinian minority and the Jewish majority in all fields of life. In order to fight this and make a change, we are trying to do big projects of empowerment for the new generation and build our new generation as people who are ready to struggle for a better future, for a democratic future, equality and justice for all.
Okay, Doctor, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. We need to move on. I'm just going to turn it over to Brother Khalil Khalil. Khalil is our treasurer. He's our fundraiser. Speak just for 1 minute before we turn it over to Congressman Garcia.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. برحب بالجميع. أهلا وسهلا. Welcome everybody. This is a fundraising for the Palestinian Student Scholarship Fund. We would like everybody's support here. We have more than one way in donating to our cause. As you know, this is a cause that's dear to all of our hearts, dear to the hearts of Palestinians. And the only reason we have awareness about our struggle is because we have a good amount of college students, good amount of education amongst our people. The only way that we can lift our people to the next level is to educate the children. And once we educate one child, the rest will be easy. That child will be able to help his brothers or her siblings. There are more than ways to donate. You can go to our website, the pssf.com/donate. I'll repeat, the pssf.com/donate. You can go to Facebook directly and donate to our cause. And for the brothers who are present here, we would also get their donation later on in the program. Jazakumullah khairan.
Thank you, Hussein. It gives me a great deal of pleasure to introduce our U.S. representative, Chewy Garcia. Before I make a formal introduction, I just want to tell everybody that Chewy is a true friend of the community. He's been with us for many years. We appreciate the relationship. And again, Chewy was sworn in office on January 3rd, 2019, during the 116th Congress. Throughout his career, Congressman Garcia has been a progressive voice fighting to improve lives of his working class neighbors, many of whom are immigrants like him. He's a coalition builder committed to empowering youth and expanding access to quality education, affordable housing, and economic opportunity. Congressman, welcome.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon. Buenas tardes. Assalamu alaikum to all of the scholarship recipients. I am truly honored that you are having me make some brief remarks to your present and future intelligentsia of the Palestinian community and people. It is an honor to be here today to honor past successes and look forward to a bright future for students of the Palestinian Students Scholarship Fund. There is a lot to celebrate despite personal and political odds. And we just received an update, of course, on the struggle for Palestinian and national rights and human rights as well. Students who received this scholarship are currently attending prestigious programs at PSSF's partner universities. I also, of course, applaud the coordinators of the scholarships who have paved the way for these students' education, and in doing so, created opportunities that would not otherwise be available. After all, scholarships provide more than financial aid. They unlock new future outcomes for their recipients. And it was through scholarships and financial aid that I became the first in my family to get a college education. Receiving the gift of education can change students' entire life path. It can make dreams live. As a congressman, I'm advocating to make the gift and the dream of education a reality for all students in the United States. We need an educational system that serves everyone, regardless of racial or ethnic background, religion, financial situation, and of course, immigration status. This starts with affordable, high-quality elementary schools and goes right up to the college and graduate levels. As you know, education quite literally determines the preparation that an entire generation of young people receives. It is with that preparation that they are then expected to lead the future of our society, and we're in great need of the talent and abilities of this young generation. So when I vote on national policy for education, as I did this past week, I feel an incredible sense of responsibility, because this could determine if and how young people become engaged members of society and great leaders, and how many of them even get that chance to thrive. Very proud to say that I consider myself a great friend and ally of Rashida Tlaib, who represents a district in the state of Michigan. She is my Palestinian sister, and we collaborate on many approaches, and so happy that history was made with her election. We need a broader, bolder approach to our education system and provide more funding that actually reaches communities. We need public colleges and loan relief opportunities for young adults saddled with years and sometimes decades of debt. But as I describe this, I know how far it is from our current reality. Across the world, the COVID-19 pandemic has exacerbated educational disparities. For example, as schools switch to digital learning, students without computers and without Wi-Fi now find themselves without a way of attending online class. And as the financial downturn increases the gap between the haves and the have-nots, students at a financial disadvantage are faced with difficult choices. Many young adults do not even have access to high school or college. Those who do often have to decide between a quality education and one they can afford, and still work jobs to support themselves along the way. Of course, these difficulties become even more challenging when we consider the political situation of a region. Palestinian students face heightened barriers to participation, including an uncertain status and future. This is another reason why I stand alongside many fellow members of Congress who advocate for a viable Palestinian state. But although their circumstances are very different for both American and Palestinian students, often their educational opportunities are limited by their ability to pay. That's why I'm continuing to vote in Congress to even the playing field for students of all backgrounds. And that's exactly what PSSF is doing, helping Palestinian students who need an extra financial boost to fill their true potential. So congratulations to past and current scholarship recipients. You are Palestine's present and its future. And I wish you every success, whether you are here in the US or in any other part of the diaspora. Thank you very much for having me, and please enjoy the rest of my programs, my friends.
A great deal, and inshallah we'll be there for you. Thank you. With that, I'm going to turn the program over to Brother Khalil to just say a couple words.
Assalamu alaikum. Again, education is a key part of our community, our people throughout the whole world. We definitely need to support our students back home. We are partners with 3 universities, the University of Bethlehem, the University of Al-Quds, Abu Dis, and the University of Haifa. The cost to educate a student for the bachelor degree would be about $3,500. The cost to educate a master student is about $5,000, and the cost for the PhD student is about $7,500. Alhamdulillah, we have had collected a considerable amount to educate our students. We are here to get donations online, mainly for our brothers who are joining us, brothers and sisters who are joining us online on Facebook or other methods of social media. Please go to the pss.com/donate. In Arabic, قليل دائم خير من قليل منقطع. Meaning, for those who don't speak Arabic, a small amount that is continuous throughout is better than just a big amount on one time. The continuous support is very important. You can donate on monthly basis. I would like to get someone to at least educate a student throughout the whole 4 years, and the cost for that is about $14,400. So if someone sees in themselves, whether they're joining us online or in person, to pay for 1 year, for 4 years of education for a student, there will be a great deal of help for us. I have a couple of very important donors who really supported us big time. we have two brothers from Milwaukee who donated. Ikhwan Jasser and Faraj Jabir. They donated $14,400 to educate one student throughout their education. We have another brother who is with us right now, who took it upon himself to educate a medical student, Akhuna Abu Basil Ahmed Alwan. He took it upon himself to educate a medical student throughout his or her education at Al-Quds University. Akhuna Abu Basil, thank you very much. I have another very big news. We have our friends in Turkey who donated 10 full scholarships for 10 students to study in Turkey, everything 100% paid, whether it's living expense, tuition, and about $500 in living expense. We estimate that each one of these scholarships is $20,000 each. So each year, these students are in Turkey, it'll be about $200,000. We thank them very much, and we thank everybody who worked on that program. We have, I don't want to take too much time at this point. I'll have more announcements to make, but please visit our website at the pssf.com/donate, the pssf.com/donate, or our page on Facebook. With that, I'll turn over the mic to Mr. Ali.
Gives me a great pleasure to introduce our state senator, Selena Villanueva. Born in Chicago and raised in Little Village, Selena has served the 11th district. Well, she's, again, a good friend of our community, began organizing and advocating for her community as a teenager, and is committed to building immigrant power, developing young leaders, expanding voting rights, and engaging immigrants, communities, and allies. Welcome on board. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you all for having me today, and good afternoon to everyone. It's an honor to be here to talk about something. As the vice chair of the Higher Education Committee in the Illinois State Senate, higher education is one of my key priorities, and ensuring that our young people have access to higher education and have access to financial aid that can help with their studies is of pivotal importance. So to be able to speak with you today with so many generous people and recipients who have been and received the scholarship, it's an honor to be able to talk about, the issues that are very important to our communities, both Arab communities and Latino, Latinx communities, because so many of them are similar. So many of the issues that our communities are facing and our young people are facing are these lack of accessibility to be able to have a full education, of being able to ensure that they have the financial means to be able to pay for 4 years of college, and if they choose to get a master's degree and a PhD, because so often they don't. And so it's really important for folks that are really putting in, the money and the financial effort to really be able to help the students, because it really opens doors. An education opens so many doors, not just for the student, for our family and for our communities. And the sense of community and giving is something that's so strong in both of our communities. There's similar intersectional issues that we constantly have to face. And unfortunately, we are all facing very difficult issues, both in terms of Palestine and here in the United States, where many of our voices tend to be marginalized. But the truth is, coming together in instances like this, coming together to ensure that our communities and our young people are educated, and coming together to ensure that we and our voices are being heard, are going to be crucial. We have an important election coming up here in November in the United States, and we have elections that are going to be important for all of us coming up in the near future. And to ensure that our communities are educated and that they know what's going on and how the issues are impacting them is going to be of vital importance. So I thank you all for the work that you're doing. I thank you all, both the students and the recipients, but also the contributors who are giving of their time and are giving of their finances to really help to open doors for students that are really the future for all of our countries, for both Palestine and here in the United States, as a champion of immigrant rights, but also a very, very, very strong champion of the Arab communities in the state Senate it is imperative that we continuously work together to ensure that all of our voices are being heard. And so with that, I appreciate so much all the efforts that everyone is doing to ensure that the scholarship fund continues to be as successful as it is, to ensure that students, Palestinian students, have an opportunity to be able to attend university and to be able to get their bachelor's degree and master's degree. I wish you all the best of luck and continued success. Thank you.
Appreciate that friendship and have a good day. Gives me a great deal of pleasure to introduce our next speaker. Mr. Baker Awaude is a prominent Palestinian community leader and role model. He's focused on helping to uplift local communities of Palestine and empowering their youth to get the education and help and build their communities from the ground up. Mr. Awaude.
شكرا لكم جميعا. السلام عليكم ورحمه الله. انا بكر عوضي من كفر كنا في الجليل رابط 48. اشكركم جدا على هذه الفرصه المتاحه للتحدث اليكم حول الفلسطينيين في الداخل، قضاياهم، تاريخهم ومشاكلهم والتحديات التي تواجههم. قمت باعداد شريحه ساعرضها عليكم الان للتحدث حول الفلسطينيين في الداخل. اعتقد ان كثير من الفلسطينيين لا يعرفون حقيقة النضالات والتحديات التي يواجهها الفلسطينيين في الداخل. أنا أود أن أشكركم جزيل الشكر لأنكم يعني كجهة فلسطينية من خارج البلاد يعني أعتقد لأول مرة أقوم بالنظر إلى الفلسطينيين في الداخل واعتبارهم مجموعة فلسطينية أساسية مثل باقي الشعب الفلسطيني. أشكركم جزيل الشكر على هذا الأمر. في الحقيقة هنا سأقوم بعرض شريحة لحظة. اوكي مش شايفه. اوكي.
اتفضل.
اولا من هم الفلسطينيون في الداخل؟ اريد ان استعرض بعض المحطات التاريخيه حولنا ايضا من اجل الاجيال يعني التي لم تعاصر ذلك الوقت، ومن اجل الحقيقه يعني النكبه التي اثرت وادت الى ترحيل اكثر من 750,000 فلسطيني من بيوتهم وارضهم في 48 والى تدمير اكثر من 524 قريه عربيه. بقي في هذه البلاد 150,000 فلسطيني. تحولنا من أكثرية في هذه البلاد في ظرف يوم وليلة إلى أقلية صغيرة تواجه العنصرية الإسرائيلية والقوانين العنصرية خلال يوم وليلة. يعني أصبحنا أقلية وقد أجبرنا على أخذ الهوية الإسرائيلية كجنسية. ومنذ 48 إلى 1966 خلال يعني ما يقارب 20 عام تم هناك حكم عسكري، نظام عسكري على جميع القرى العربية المتبقية، قرابة 70 قرية عربية منعت خلالها التجول والخروج من القرى والعيش والعمل وحرية التعبير والتنظيم السياسي إلى آخره من الأمور. خلال هذه الفترة استولت إسرائيل من خلال بعض القوانين العنصرية الغير شرعية على أغلبية الأراضي العربية وحتى على أراضي المهجرين، يعني displaced people اللي تهجروا من بلد إلى بلد صغير، يعني من طمرة إلى من الكويكات إلى طمرة، ومن القرى المهجرة إلى بلدات قائمة داخل إسرائيل. تم مصادرة أراضيهم، وبهذا استولت إسرائيل يعني على ما يقارب 73% من أرض فلسطين التاريخية خلال هذه الفترة، خلال 20 عام من الحكم العسكري. ولكن المحطة الفارقة والمهمة في حياة الفلسطينيين في إسرائيل هي 1976، وهي عندما أرادت إسرائيل أن تقوم بجولة أخرى من المصادرات في منطقة الجليل وما يسمى بتهويد الجليل في 30 من آذار 1976، حيث هب العرب وبأول عمل منظم جماعي سياسي قاموا بمظاهرات وبإضرابات في الجليل، وامتدت إلى باقي المناطق الفلسطينية في الداخل، وقتل 6 مواطنين عرب. وسمي هذا اليوم منذ ذلك اليوم وهو يوم الأرض، وهو انطلق من أرض الجليل ويحتفل به الفلسطينيين في كل العالم سنويا. المرحلة الثانية وهي مرحلة الثمانينيات، أريد أن أذكر أنه حتى سنة 1980 لم تكن هناك ولا جمعية عربية مؤسسة، لم يكن مؤسسات عربية موجودة، لأنه كان الأمر شبه ممنوع سياسيا. ومن سنة 1980 ل 1990 بدأ إعادة البناء الوطني للأقلية الفلسطينية في الداخل، فتم بناء لجنة المتابعة العليا للمواطنين العرب، وتم بناء اللجنة القطرية لرؤساء سلطات العرب، وتم مساندة إخواننا الفلسطينيين في الانتفاضة الأولى من خلال الدعم. وتم خلال هذه الفترة، خلال فترة بنهايتها فترة اتفاقيات أوسلو، حيث ظهر أن الشأن الفلسطيني الداخلي هو شأن إسرائيلي بحسب هذه الاتفاقيات للأسف. فظهر المطلب السياسي الكبير والأساسي لكل المواطنين الفلسطينيين في إسرائيل أن تكون إسرائيل دولة كل مواطنيها. وهذا المطلب كما تحدث عنه صديقي سامي أبو شحادي ابتدأ من سنوات ال90 وهو امتد حتى اليوم، وهذا كفاحنا أن تكون إسرائيل دولة ديمقراطية لكل مواطنيها وليس دولة ديمقراطية لليهود فقط فيها. والمرحلة الأخرى، المحطة الفارقة الأخرى، هي سنة 2000 ومع بداية الانتفاضة تم قتل 12 مواطن إسرائيلي فلسطيني من إسرائيل طبعا، وجرح المئات. ومنذ ذلك الوقت يعني كانت هذه نقطة فارقة في العلاقات الفلسطينية مع الدولة وفقدان الثقة بالمؤسسات الحاكمة ومؤسسة القضاء الإسرائيلية. تم قتل أكثر من 63 مواطن بأيدي الشرطة بدون أي سبب وبدون أي تحقيق. والمرحلة الأخيرة التي نعيشها اليوم وهي مرحلة خطيرة جدا، متمثلة باستيلاء اليمين الإسرائيلي على الحكم وصعود بنيامين نتنياهو والأجندة السياسية العنصرية التي يتولاها، حيث تم شرعنة عشرات القوانين العنصرية ضد المواطنين العرب. هذه يعني ونحن نعيش اليوم حالة صعبة من العنصرية ومن الإقصاء السياسي والاجتماعي والاقتصادي. كفلسطينيين في الداخل نعيش في تجمعاتنا السكنية، ولكننا لا نعتبر شرعيين في التأثير على السياسة الإسرائيلية، وللأسف هذا يشمل اليسار واليمين في إسرائيل. ولكننا اليوم إخواني كنا 150,000 نسمة في سنة 1948، ولكننا اليوم رقم كبير جدا. نحن اليوم قرابة 1.5 مليون بني آدم، لا يشمل سكان القدس ولا يشمل طبعا المواطنين في الهضبة السورية. ونحن اليوم مجموعة كبيرة داخل إسرائيل، مجموعة متماسكة نؤمن بهويتنا الفلسطينية ولدينا طموحات بالعيش الكريم وبالمساواة. أغلبية الفلسطينيين في الداخل 51% يعيشون في الجليل في الشمال، 17% يعيشون في الجنوب، 14% يعيشون في المركز، وتقريبا 18% يعيشون في مدن الساحل مثل يافا وحيفا وعكا والى اخره. أريد الآن أن أتحدث عن التحديات المركزية التي تواجه العرب في الداخل. نعم، إسرائيل هي إحدى الدول التي يعني مشاركة في عضوها في منظمة الOECD وتعتبر دولة متقدمة، ولكنها أحد الدول الوحيدة التي يوجد بينها تميز بالمدخولات وبين الأغنياء والفقراء. يوجد فرق شاسع بين الطبقات. أنا أريد أن أقول لكم أن أكثر من 50% من العائلات الفلسطينية في إسرائيل تعيش تحت خط الفقر. فللحقيقة أقول أن هناك معدل ثابت أن دخل العائلة العربية هو تقريبا 70% فقط من دخل العائلة اليهودية. يعني وهذا معطى ثابت على مدار أكثر من 20 عام. حيث ترتفع المدخولات يبقى هناك عامل ثابت 30% اكثر للعائله اليهوديه، مع ان المصروفات تقريبا متشابهه في جميع الامور. واذا نظرنا الى المصروفات العائله العربيه نرى ان تقريبا 50 الى 51% من مصروفات العائله العربيه تذهب الى طبعا الغذاء والمواصلات والى الكهرباء والغاز وكل ما يحتاج البيت. هناك اكثر من 30% من العائلات العربيه تاخذ قروض من اجل المعيشه. الاستثمار في التعليم للاسف الشديد ياتي في ضمن الاولويات المتاخره جدا. تقريبا 6% فقط من مدخولات العائله العربيه يذهب للاستثمار في التعليم. احد التحديات الاخرى التي نتحدث عنها وهو امر خطير جدا، اعتقد اننا كاقليه مستهدفه ونشكل بحسب اراء كثير من السياسيين الاسرائيليين نشكل خطرا استراتيجيا داخليا على دوله اليهود هنا. نرى ان هناك حدث امر غريب اخر 10 15 سنه في العقد الاخير، وهو ظهور الجريمه المنظمه داخل مجتمعنا. غياب المرجعيات المحليه، التطور الذي نعيشه السريع، وايضا غياب الشرطه وغياب القانون. القانون غير موجود داخل القرى العربيه، الشرطه لا تدخل غير معنيه ايضا بحل المشاكل الانسانيه والاجتماعيه التي تحدث داخل القرى العربيه. أريد أن أعطيكم فقط وهو أحد نتائج الفقر الذي تحدثت عنه سابقا، أنه من سنة 2000 لسنة 2020 أكثر من 1466 قتيل ضمن جرائم عنف وجرائم جريمة منظمة داخل مجتمعنا، وهذا أمر حديث لم نعهده في مجتمعنا، وأمر منذر في الخطر داخل المجتمع العربي. بالنسبة لموضوع التعليم، المجتمع العربي الفلسطيني في إسرائيل يفهم ويعي جيدا أن إمكانيات صموده في هذه البلاد تكمن من خلال التعليم ومن خلال حيازة الشهادات العليا من أجل التحصيل. لا يمكن لإنسان غير متعلم أن يستطيع العيش هنا بكرامة وبطريقة تليق. لا يمكن أن نخترق المجتمع اليهودي بدون تعليم، لا يمكن أن نحصل على الوظائف العليا بدون تعليم. وليس التعليم، أعتقد أن على العربي الفلسطيني بالداخل أن يمتاز أيضا من أجل الحصول على وظيفة. لا يكفي أن يكون جيد، يجب أن يمتاز. وبهذا أريد أن أقول لكم أنه بالرغم من كل الصعوبات والفقر الموجود والمشاكل الاجتماعية والتضييق في السكن الموجود على مجتمعنا، التجمعات السكنية ذات كثافة عالية جدا، إسرائيل لا تسمح بتوسيع الخرائط الهيكلية للبناء، وبالتالي هناك كثافة سكانية عالية على مناطق صغيرة جدا يؤدي إلى مشاكل كثيرة. ولكن رغم هذا هناك من سنة 2008 إلى سنة 2019 ارتفاع بنسبة 18% بنسبة الطلاب الجامعيين العرب في الجامعات، من 24,000 طالب سنة 2008 إلى 51,000 طالب سنة 2019. رغم كل الصعوبات إلا أن هناك العرب رأوا أن هذه استراتيجية مهمة ورئيسية من أجل العيش بكرامة داخل بلادنا وداخل وطننا. طبعا يجب أن نذكر أن هناك أكثر من 20% من الطلاب العرب يتعلمون خارج البلاد، وبالذات المواضيع الطبية والصحية. نتحدث عن مجموعة كبيرة من الطلاب وذات تكاليف مالية جدا عالية. بشكل عام العائلة العربية تستثمر تستطيع أن ترى بالتعليم فرصة لأولادها لها من أجل النهوض ومن أجل الخروج من دائرة الفقر. ولكن في الحقيقة المشكلة الأساسية في التعليم لا تكمن أساسا فقط في التعليم الجامعي، إنما المشكلة الأساسية تكمن في التعليم الابتدائي والثانوي، حيث لدينا مؤسسات تعليمية ضعيفة ومسيطر عليها من قبل أجهزة الدولة، وهي الامتحانات الدولية للفيزا التي تجري سنويا أو كل عدة سنوات. هناك فرق 100 نقطة بين الطالب العربي والطالب اليهودي. أخيرا أريد أن أركز أن أحد الأمور التي يحتاجها مجتمعنا هو طلاب الدراسات العليا. لدينا ارتفاع هائل وطيب جدا في التعليم للبي اي البكالوريوس او البي اي والتعليم الماستر، ولكن لدينا حاجه كبرى للمتخصصين في وباحثين في البي اتش دي دراسات البي اتش دي حتى الآن نحن نشكل فقط 7% من الطلاب الدراسات العليا، ونحن بحاجة إلى زيادة هذه الأعداد. أحد الأمور التي يعني تمنع الزيادة هو طبعا عدم وجود تمويل لطلاب الدراسات العليا. أنا أود أن أشكركم على هذه الفرصة، وأنا أرى بكم يعني فرصة رائعة للتواصل كشعب فلسطيني مع بعضنا البعض. أرى بكم كسمك السلمون الذي يسبح ضد التيار ليضع بيوضه في تلك البحيرة لتنضج ونبني مجتمعا معا. أشكركم على هذه الفرصة وأتمنى لنا ولكم النجاح، وشكرا لكم.
أبو محمد شكرا كثير. وإذا ممكن تودينا للبرزنتيشن اللي ورجيتها، خلينا we can share with everybody. شكرا. Moving on, it gives me a great deal of pleasure to introduce Ms. Shahinda Nassar with Beit Lahem University. Shahinda is an administrator at Beit Lahem University. She works directly with students and helps to distribute scholarships. She deeply understands and will be speaking to the needs of the students in Palestine.
Good evening. مساء الخير للجميع. إن شاء الله يا رب تكونوا بخير. My name is Shahinda Nassar, Development Officer. I'm responsible for the scholarship program at Bethlehem University. I'm really happy to speak to you today as a Palestinian first from Bethlehem and as a graduate from Bethlehem University. 50 years ago, there were no universities in the West Bank, and the Palestinian students seeking higher education had to leave Palestine. And that was the reason behind the establishment of Bethlehem University, to help the Palestinians stay in Palestine. We believe in the power of education, and we also share the same mission of the Palestinian Student Scholarship Fund. We believe that education and knowledge will lead to a better future, to freedom, dignity, and justice. And this is exactly what we need in this troubled world right now. Because I work closely with the students every day, I see the impact of each gift we receive. Behind every gift, there's a struggling family, there's a story. Your gifts create remarkable moments for the students who have very difficult lives and who come from restricted backgrounds, financially restricted backgrounds. I thank you, and I also encourage you to support the needy students of Bethlehem University through the Palestinian Student Scholarship Fund. Your presence in this event is a huge sign of solidarity. So, from Bethlehem in the occupied Palestine, I thank you and God bless you always. إن شاء الله يا رب ربنا يبارك جهودكم بهاليوم، وبشكركم باسم كل طالب من جامعة بيت لحم. شكرا لكل واحد فيكم. Thank you.
شكرا كثير. احنا we really enjoy our visit to Beit Lahem.
I know.
You know, for those who are with us here, I think Abu Faris went with us last year. وأخرنا. I think of all the universities, that Beit Lahem has a special atmosphere. It's Palestinian more than any place else. We were there on the day of Palestine where the students they had Al Khayma and they were celebrating. Yeah. And for that, we appreciate it. And I can tell you, I can speak on behalf of the board, and we're committed to Beit Lahem, and inshallah, our support to your school will be much higher this year, inshallah.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate this. I can't wait to have you again with us on campus.
Inshallah. Our next guest is Dr. Safa Zahir with the Al-Quds University. She's an administrator in financial aid at Al-Quds. She also works directly with students and understands the need. She will speak to us briefly about our visit and our beautiful students for Al-Quds University.
مساء الخير. أنا جدا سعيدة إني معاكم اليوم، وبشكر كتير المبادرة تبعتكم والمساعدة اللي قدمتوها لطلابنا. بعتذر بالنيابة عن الدكتور عماد أبو كشك، عنده اجتماع مع وزير التربية والتعليم. فأنا يعني كنت سعيدة جدا إني أتعرف عليكم لما زرتونا السنة الماضية. أنا زي ما قالت الأخت من بيت لحم، إحنا على تواصل مباشر مع الطلاب، وما بدي أقول لك مدى سعادتهم اللي أنتم لمستوها بأنفسكم عند اللقاء مع الطلاب، وقالوا لكم عن أوضاعهم. كل واحد حكى قديش المنحة ساعدته إنه يتخطى مصاعبه الاقتصادية ويقدر يوصل لحلمه. إحنا في جامعة القدس الحقيقة لما أي جهة بتبعت بتقولنا رشحوا لنا طلاب، إحنا عندنا سيستم كتير يتوخى الحرص الشديد بانه الشخص المناسب هو اللي ياخذ المنحه. الشخص المناسب بتيجي بمعنى انه الاكثر تفوقا اكاديميا والاكثر حاجه ماديا. فعندنا سكيل من 20 نقطه نجمعها عن كل الطلاب. انا عندي بنك معلومات عن طلاب الجامعه، لانه سيمبلي لما بدخل على الجامعه زي ما بيعبي بيانات عن شو اسم مدرسته، قديش معدله، كل هذا الكلام، في عنده سيكشن اسمه المسح الاجتماعي. فبيحط مثلا اذا كان يتيم بحط انه يتيم الاب او يتيم الام، اذا البيت اجار بكتب، في اسئله محدده بتجمع تقريبا 20 معلومه، حتى عن الدخل تبع الوالد، عدد افراد الاسره، اذا في حدا مريض، اذا حدا عنده اعاقه. كل هذه بتعمل زي نقطه، مجموع نقاط لكل طالب. وبالتالي لما انا مثلا البي اس اس اف بتطلب مني اعطيها الاكثر معدلا مثلا في كليه الطب والاكثر حاجه، انا بحط كرايتيريا معينه على البرنامج وبيعطيني مثلا قائمه من 50 اسم وبنبعث لكم اياهم، وبعدين بتيجوا عندنا وبتقابلوهم وبتختاروا. فالسلكشن بروسيس الحقيقه جدا تتوخى العداله خلينا نقول. وطبعا ما بدي اعيد واعمل ريبيتيشن للي قالوه الزملاء قبلي، قديش التعليم مهم بفلسطين وقديش انه التعليم سلاحنا الوحيد الان، لانه الانسان الفلسطيني اذا انت علمته ووصلته ممكن يقدر يخدم الجيل اللي جاي ويخدمنا احنا اللي راح نكون تقريبا ختيرنا، وهدول الشباب هم اللي راح يحملوا الرايه. فاذا احنا علمناهم وثقفناهم وساعدناهم يوقفوا على رجليهم، فهذا معناه مستقبل للجميع ان شاء الله. سعدنا جدا بلقائكم السنه اللي فاتت، وان شاء الله بنشوفكم كمان مره عندنا. وشكرا كثير. اذا بتحبوا احكي كمان بحكي كمان.
شكرا لك، كفيتي ووفيتي ما شاء الله.
تسلموا تسلموا.
شكرا أهلين. Each student have their own story, and we visit the universities every year when we go. I would like to mention the fact that we, the board members of the Palestinian Student Scholarship Fund, visit the universities at our own expense. So they does not cost the fund any money. We pay our own money. Each student has their own unique story, and each story is totally different, but it's very, very emotional. One very emotional story, one of the students who she is very, very high honor. I don't remember the exact average, but above 97 degrees. And her concern was, how can she tell her father that she needs the tuition knowing her father is unemployed, he doesn't work, and they barely have enough money to put food on the table? How can she tell her father that story? It's really heartbreaking. She's very anxious for 2-3 weeks before the tuition is due to be able to tell her father, not even give the money, just being able to have the courage to tell her father. That's definitely a student that needs our help, needs your help. So again, I ask everybody who is with us on Facebook or online to visit the pssf.com/donate and go directly to our Facebook. I will go over some donors later on in the program, inshallah. So with that, I'll turn it over to Brother Ali.
Assalamu alaikum. Just want to let everybody knows there's lunch. It's running late, but it's good. لأن احنا we're running late. بعدين في كنافة وأبو باسل جاب fruits. فتحملونا شوي. Who are we introducing?
Brother Peter.
الله يرضى عليك. Our next speaker is Brother Peter Bray. He is a vice chancellor of Bethlehem University, the first Palestinian university established in Palestine as a Catholic university. Brother Peter assumed leadership in Bethlehem University in 2009 and brings 30 years of experience in education. We thank him very much. We had a chance to meet with him, and thank you, brother. Please.
Good, thank you very much, and greetings from Bethlehem. I'm very grateful for this opportunity to speak about Bethlehem University, but as Shahinda has mentioned, thanks to the Palestinian Student Scholarship Fund for the support of our students. Unfortunately, we don't have any students on campus at present and haven't had since the 5th of March because of the coronavirus and the fact that the universities haven't been able to have students on campus. We were able to finish the spring semester online, then we had the summer semester online, and now we've just started the fall semester online. One of the unfortunate aspects of this is that the 976 new students joining us this year, the largest number in the history of Bethlehem University, we've had to introduce them to Bethlehem University online. Which is not the best way to do it because our returning students don't have the chance to welcome them and to show them around. But the COVID-19 has had a huge impact on universities around the world, and Bethlehem University has not escaped that. But the little town of Bethlehem has been particularly hit hard because many of the families of our students are involved in the hospitality industry. In hotels and restaurants, travel agents, travel guides, bus companies, etc. And there haven't been any pilgrims here in Bethlehem since the beginning of March. So this means those families have been struggling to find funds for their family, for food and for clothing and whatever. And that's had a roll-on effect for us because it meant that families have had difficulties in paying tuition, which we need to pay salaries. So you know, that's a challenge that we are having to deal with here at present. Our mission here at Bethlehem University is to serve the Palestinian people through education. And we're trying in all sorts of ways to respond to the needs of our students and to the Palestinian society. And so we've introduced programs which we believe will meet those needs. And so this year, we're particularly delighted that 2 new programs we introduced, that is software engineering and medical laboratory sciences. We've had more applicants than we have room for. So we obviously made the good choice in introducing those subjects. As you're probably aware, the political situation here with the possibility of annexation of part of the West Bank is a backdrop to what we are doing. But for our students, really, it's nothing new because they're continually reminded of the situation here and the oppression that the occupation brings. But one of the things that I'm particularly aware of is the resilience of our students. And I just find that inspiring. Most of our students, or more than half of our students, come from Jerusalem, and most of those by bus. And when they get on the bus in the morning to come, they're not sure. They're unaware of whether that bus is going to be stopped once or twice or even 3 times by different groups of Israeli military. They don't know whether they're going to be interrogated. They don't know whether they're going to be arrested. They don't know whether they're going to have a gun put in their face. And all that sense of unpredictability, the uncertainty around it, has a price, and they are anxious about that. But the thing that inspires me is to see them coming to Bethlehem University. And if that's the price they have to pay, then they'll continue to come. But when they step onto the campus here at Bethlehem University, I want them to know that they are safe. No one is going to interrogate them here. No one is going to arrest them here. No one is going to put a gun in their face here at Bethlehem University. This is a safe place for them. And what we are trying to do here is create a little oasis of peace in the midst of the occupation, in the midst of the hassles that they face. And that's what I admire about them and their resilience in coming here. And what we are trying to do is create that little oasis of peace for them, and for them to know that there are people here who really care about them. And I think the appreciation so many of them have for what is offered here is something that I think is really important. There was a student, Almataz, from Wallagy, which is just over the back of Bajala. His family house was demolished by the Israeli military, and over a period of time, his family and his family friends rebuilt it. And I was speaking to him shortly after it had been demolished for the second time. And I was really inspired by what he said, when he said that, you know, they've taken my house, they've taken my land, they've taken my freedom, but they cannot take my education. And it's that appreciation of what they have here at Bethlehem University that I find inspiring. And I'm really grateful to the Palestinian Student Scholarship Fund for supporting students to enable them to come here and have that experience here at Bethlehem University. An experience of being in a little oasis of peace, of being in a place where they know they are cared for, where it's a beacon of hope for them, and where they have the opportunity to get quality higher education. So for helping us to serve those young people, to provide that opportunity, I say a very sincere thank you. And I'd encourage those people who are listening to be generous to the Palestinian Student Scholarship Fund so that they can continue to help those students who are here at Bethlehem University and desperately need that help. So shukran, shukran.
Brother Peter, thank you very, very much. We really appreciate all you're doing. And as I mentioned earlier, when we visit Bethlehem, it's a different atmosphere. It's a beautiful atmosphere.
Yes.
God bless you. And we hope to see you soon. Thank you.
Shukran.
Our next speaker is Dr. Yazbek, who's a newly graduate doctor from Nasra and a scholarship recipient. She attended Al-Quds University and medical school, and will speak to the difference that our program and your support has made for her and others. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I am Iman Yazbak from Nazareth. I'm freshly graduated medical doctor from Al-Quds University, and I'm one of the students who got the chance to have the PSSF scholarship. First of all, I would like to thank you for supporting me during my study years, and I would like to thank Al-Quds University for having the opportunity, a new opportunity for all of her students. And of course, I would like to thank my colleagues for having the opportunity to speak on behalf of them. Being a medical student means studying continuously for at least 6 years and paying a lot of university taxes. It's a burden for Palestinian families in general, especially if there is multiple brothers or sisters studying at the same time like me. And having a partial scholarship, believe me, it helps a lot in this long pathway. This year, the world is facing coronavirus situation, and we are fighting this pandemic by the aid of medical staff, including doctors who are the first-line fighters. This pandemic has taught us the lesson: developed medical field equal a developed country who is able to face any challenges. In general, there is lack of scholarships and financial aids to all Palestinian students, especially who are studying medical field. But from personal initiatives from businessmen like you are helping us a lot. And the coronavirus situation is making the financial situation worse. especially that many families are losing their jobs in Jerusalem and West Bank and also in Nazareth as well, thing that is directly affecting the study of thousands of students. I'm gently asking you to keep investing in Palestinian ambitious students, because investing in a university student means investing in society knowledge and development. So it's always a good idea. But investing in a good doctor, it is always the greatest. And thank you.
Dr. Shukran. At this point in time, I'm going to turn it over to Brother Khalil for what you were invited here for.
Assalamu alaikum. Inshallah, lunch will be served.
I can leave now.
No, you're staying. Don't leave me alone. Thank you very much for being part of this great program and great cause. It's definitely a cause that we can all relate to. We all have families back home. We can have everybody have their own personal stories. At this point, I would like to mention some of the names, some of our supporters that were with us throughout the years, but I want to specifically mention people who supported us this year so far. We had a couple of events within last month or so. We went to Milwaukee. We were hosted by very gracious, generous people who gave us about $40,000. Ahuna Abu Musa hosted us, and we were able to collect $40,000, almost $40,000. And I would like to mention some of the names who donated. Ahuna Adnan Asad, $1,000. Yusuf Auda, $3,000. Mufid Isa, $1,000. Akram Ishaq, $1,500. $1,500. Nidal Khamis, $1,000. Abdulmun'im Asad, $200. We have the two brothers who are Jasir Jabir and Farad Jabir, who both donated $7,200 each toward a full scholarship for the whole 4 years of bachelor program. We thank them very much. We have Ahuna Zuhdi Nadmi, $3,000. Muhammad Al-Abid, $1,000. Iyad Yunus, $1,000. Muhammad Zidan, $1,000. Sheikh Ziad Hamdan, $250. Sheikh Ahuna Abu Isa Sahuri and Fadi Sahuri, $2,000. Naeem Yusuf, $1,000. And we have one of our supporters who is Puerto Rican, Ahuna, our friend Jose Lopez, $1,000. So, alhamdulillah, was very generous donation. Ahuna Abu Musa donated $4,000 at the event too. Then we had another event at Ahuna Muhammad Abdullah, his residence, where we collected about $60,000. I would like to mention the names. We started by Muhammad Abdullah, $10,000. Ali Atta, $10,000. Malik Al-Masad, $10,000. Ziad Farhan, $5,000. Hani Abdullah, $5,000. Ahuna Abu Ashraf, Allah Shafi wa Afi, $5,000. Amir Darwish. Khalil, $5,000. Ibrahim Al-Hmoud, $3,000. Ibrahim Shhada, $3,000. Ahuna Abu Musa Jamal Abdul Jabir, one more time, $3,000, a total of $7,000. Jazakallah khair. Ahmed Ilwan, $1,000 on top of the scholarship, a full scholarship for a medical student. Ahuna Abu Basir, Jazakallah khair. I know you have a long history in supporting our Palestinian brothers back home. Ahuna Muhammad Al-Asfar, $1,000. Dr. Khalid Al-Zu'bi, $1,000. And Dr. Raed Abdullah, $1,000. I was able to collect some pledges for some brothers. Before I say these pledges, I would like to look at the audience who are supporting us here, and hopefully I have someone amongst us, maybe two, who can give us maybe a full scholarship for one of the students throughout the 4 years. If I have a name, if somebody have that in their heart, I would like to see them raise their hand. I see somebody. MashaAllah. I have Ahuna Abid, who he's going to do 5 full scholarships. 5 full scholarship for first year. I estimate that to be $14,000, 14,200 times 5. So you guys do the math. MashaAllah. Jazakallah khair. Okay. MashaAllah. 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 Barakallah fikum. Do I have another brother who can at least give us another full scholarship for a student? Do I have another brother? MashaAllah. Akhuna Salih al-Asmar, one full scholarship and $14,400 for Akhuna Salih al-Asmar. Jazakallah khair, Akh Salih. Do I have another brother who will, can I add one more brother or make it 7? Now I have 6. Maybe I would like to have it 7. I like odd numbers for some reason. So if I can have another brother who can have that in their heart to have one full scholarship. Do I have another brother before I move on to the next level, maybe? Okay, well, let's move on because our time is very limited. So do I have another brother who will donate $5,000? Just one time. Abu Faris, I have you as a pledge, but أخونا أبو فارس عن روح $5,000 عن روح والده أبو فتحي رحمة الله عليه فندعو له بالرحمة والقبول إن شاء الله. طبعا I would like to mention that educating children can go in under the category of zakat, inshallah. So it's definitely, if you have some zakat money you would like to donate, it's definitely acceptable as zakah. We have, inshallah, will be accepted. Or صدقة عن روح الوالد, عن روح الوالدة, عن روح أخ عزيز أو ولد. فبرضو إن شاء الله تكون صدقة جارية على روح من تحب. فهل هناك أخ آخر, any other brother who would like to donate a $5,000? I have some pledges here that I would like to, for people who were unfortunately unable to join us in person, but I have Dr. Hamdi Khilfa with $5,000. Dr. Hamdi Khilfa, $5,000. One of our board members who was unable to join us, Akram Zanaid, he also is pledging $5,000. Akhuna Khalid al-Basti, who is a big supporter of us from day one, Allah Yajzil Khair, he donated $3,600. Akhuna Khalid al-Basti, Allah Yajzil Khair. Before I go on with the pledges I have, is there any brother who would like to donate a full that 1 year scholarship, which is $3,600? Do I have a brother amongst us who would like to donate? Akhuna Abu Ahmad, Akhuna Wasim, Abu Ahmad, Jazallah Khair, $3,600, Jazallah Khair. Akhuna Adnan al-Na'san, another $3,600. Allah Yajzik al-Khair, Akhuna Adnan. Do I have another? Akhuna Muhammad Gharib, MashaAllah, Allah Yajzik al-Khair. $3,600, 1 year for scholarship. Akhuna Hussein Mihyar, I remember, right? One full year of scholarship, $3,600. Allah Yajzikum al-Khair. Akhuna Mundir, MashaAllah, Akhuna Mundir, another $3,600. Allah Barik Fik, Akhuna Mundir, Barakallah Fikum Jami'an. Akhuna Imad al-Hawamda, another $3,600. MashaAllah, MashaAllah, Takbir. Do I have another brother who's amongst us? Muhammad Abu Shusha, another $3,600, MashaAllah. Akhuna Muhammad Abu Shusha, $5,000. Akhuna Firas, MashaAllah, another $3,600. Allah Yajzikum al-Khair Jami'an. Barakallah Fikum. Yani this will show how much love we have to our brothers في Palestine. Yani this is very, very dear to our hearts. This will definitely show the love we have for our people. As Akhuna Bakr Awawda mentioned, the disadvantage that our Palestinian brothers live in Palestine. As you can tell, they earn a small fraction of what Jewish citizens make. Plus, the only thing is the expenses are the same, so they are at a huge disadvantage. They have to pay their dues equally as other citizens, but when it comes to earning money, they don't have the same income. So Allah يكون بعون أهلنا في البلاد. If anything, the least we can do إحنا في المهجر إنه نساعدهم financially. As we know, they have huge problems when it comes to politically socially, and economically. And the only way we can help him and lift them from where they're at is to educate their children. So do I have any more brothers with a considerable amount donation? By the way, any amount is a good amount. There is no small amount. رب درهم سبق ألف درهم. Maybe a small amount will go as far as any other amount. There is no such a small amount. And I would like to mention also that you don't have to pay this money all at the same time. We can take it. We can take your credit card today if you have a credit card. We'd rather get a check because this way we don't have to pay amula or a cost. But definitely any amount is welcome. Abu Maher, you were saying something? Three, no. Ashraf Amir Darwish, $1,000. Matrix Accounting, $1,000. Maher Farhan, $1,000. MashaAllah. Thank you very much. Thank them all. Thank him very much. Iyad Bahi? Yes. Iyad Bahi, $3,600. 1 year scholarship. Iyad Bahi, Jazallah khair. Do I have Abu Ahmed Al Asfar? Akhuna Mu'ir Abu Sharara, a dear brother of ours, is $2,500. $500 from Ustad Shakir Asfour. Anybody else, Abu Ahmed? No. Akhuna Ahmed Abu Ghosh, he's an accountant. $1,000, Abu Umar. Okay, Abu Ahmed partner, he's Hispanic, by the way, and I got to know him. He's donating $1,000. His name is Fernando. Thank him on our behalf, Abu Ahmed.
$100 from Abu Ra'id, Jamal Sahlul.
أخونا جمال سحلول $100. أبو رائد الله يجزيه الخير.
And Abdullah Jalajil $100.
أخونا عبد الله جلاجل $100. جزاه الله خير.
And 250 من معين الموسى.
أخونا معين الموسى $250. الله يجزيه الخير. بارك الله فيه. Thank you very much. Do I have any other brothers? أخونا أبو أنس مالك عطلة. Thank you very much. $1,000. الله يجزيه الخير. أخونا الشيخ أحمد الشيخي بارك الله فيك $1,000. الله يجزيك الخير في ميزان حسناتك إن شاء الله. On top of what you do for our community, which is تحفيظ القرآن. ما شاء الله. الله يجزيك الخير وربنا يتقبل منك إن شاء الله. I would like to mention أخونا طارق أبو سعد $1,500. الله يجزيه الخير. أخونا عبد الحميد أبو غوش, another big supporter, $1,000. الله يجزيه الخير. بارك الله فيكم جميعا. Is there any other brother who would like to donate another amount? Again, for those who are still with us online on Facebook or any other form of social media, you can go to Palestinian, the PSSF.com/donate. That's our website. That will take you to the donation page. So please donate and donate generously. You can do it monthly. You can pay it all at one time. It's all will help support our students. I see Abu Ahmed raising his hand. Abu Ahmed. أخونا طارق وزوجته أخونا الدكتور طارق صهر ولا أبو أحمد $200. الله يجزيه خير. بارك الله فيكم جميعا. Do I have another brother who will have another donation? If not, I would like to thank everybody for your generous support. Inshallah, this has been a good run. This is only the beginning. We're going forward, inshallah, at full speed to support our students. I see Akhuna Muhammad Abu Mishan is raising his hand. 1,000? Akhuna Muhammad Abu Mishan from the United Holy Land Fund, $1,000. At this point, I would like to mention that we work hand in hand with United Holy Land Fund. We work together for the same cause, and we definitely thank them for their support. I will turn at this point. I will thank you very much for for being with us this time. I would look forward to be with you all the time. I have one more hand risen up. نعم.
She's raising on Facebook so far $950.
الأخت لينا طليب, she raised $950 on Facebook. We thank her very much. This is how we are. That's how our people are. They never let us down. They always donate and donate generously. Again, I thank you very much. I'll turn over the mic to أخونا علي عطا.
شكرا أبو حسين. الخلف الله عليكم كلكم. والله يعني I don't know what to say.
السلام عليكم جميعا. زمان كان اللي ما يصحلوش يروح على القدس مشان يصلي فيها يودي شوية زيت مشان إنارة المسجد الأقصى. فأنا أتوقع يعني أخذوها مني ببساطة إنه كل دولار بيصل منكم أتوقع راح ينير مش بس المسجد الأقصى، راح يكون كل فلسطين عبين بس ما ترجع. اصبروا شوي إن شاء الله قريبا. طبعا بهمة الناس المخلصة لتحرير فلسطين كل فلسطين. وشكرا لكم جميعا. وهذا العمل مش بس إلنا لوحدنا، لكل المسلمين في العالم أجمع يعني. شكرا جزيلا مرة ثانية. عفوا.
عليك. خلينا if anybody has any questions before we break. If not, there's this letter that we received من طالبة في البيرة. بس حابب أقرأ نص المكتوب. الموضوع طلب المساعدة في الحصول على منحة دراسية. بالإشارة للموضوع أعلاه أتوجه إليكم أنا الطالبة نادين أحمد خالد صبيح من سكان مدينة البيرة، وأصل والدي من جنين. تخرجت معدل 99.3 علمي لهذا العام، وحصلت على المركز الثاني على مستوى المحافظة من مدرسة البيرة، وكلي أمل بالله وبكم أن تساعدوني.
That tells our story. Basically, this is our story. Again, Abu Atta, thank you very much. I know Abu Atta worked harder on this event than all of us, but mashallah, definitely this pays off. I would like to thank everybody for being with us tonight, or this afternoon, I should say. Beautiful afternoon in Chicago. شكرا جزيلا لكل اللي كانوا معنا من أرض الوطن. الحمد لله رب العالمين. خليكم مرابطين وإحنا معكم إن شاء الله، وإن شاء الله نراكم في المستقبل. جزاكم الله خير، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Lunchtime.